But why do small firms need branding as well? The thing is, your company name, your logo, the way you answer your phone, your mannerism, your pricing, your products and services, the experiences that your clients have with you, and what they say after they've left you. When someone asks them, oh, how was your experience with so and so and so? Those things and those responses are actually what your brand is all about. That's that experience that you leave in the mind of your client. So if you want to succeed, irrespective of whether you're a small business or a medium business or a large firm, if you want to succeed, that impression has to do two jobs. One, it should convey to your customers what is special about what you do. Then secondly, it should show you in a positive light. You don't want your clients to say, for instance, you're someone that you supply finger foods or small chops, and a client has ordered from you, and they don't think it tastes really nice, or it was slimy. You probably did it the night before because of power shortage or something, and it ended up being slimy or something, and the next day your clients, after they have it, they don't have a good experience, and someone asks them, oh, what do you think about Mrs. A's finger foods? And the response would be like, oh no, don't go there, they didn't do good finger foods, their finger foods are slimy, and that might just be a one-off from your end. So you don't want something like that. So you always have to, your brand always has to picture you in a positive light. So in summary, every effective brand strategy tends to give you a competitive edge over your competitors. So what I've done is come up with bullet points that are tagged as 10 ways moms can build a brand for their small businesses. And most of the points are self-explanatory as well. I'm sure the slides are going, and can they see as I go through the slide, as I go through the points?
Yes, okay, let me get the slides now.
Yeah, so 10 ways moms can build a brand for their small businesses. Let me know when you're ready, then I can go.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. So the first point I raised is you need to start by defining what your brand is. And in that definition, it don't matter what kind of business it is, even if you're a hairdresser or a fashion designer or a caterer. For every kind of business you want to venture into or you're doing already, your brand should at all times promote your business. It should connect with your customer base, and it should differentiate you from the rest of your peers. Then number two, when building your brand, you need to think of it as a person. Now, we all have our individuality, which is made up of our beliefs, our values, and our purposes. And it's our personalities that tend to determine how we dress, how we talk, how we behave in situations, and how we react to others, really. Now, after someone else has had an experience with you, based on your personality, they will judge you based on their own intuition, based on how you've behaved towards them. So it's the same thing with when you're creating a brand. You need to have that at the back of your mind, that it's very vital that people would judge your brand based on how they perceive it. So care has to be taken when building a brand. Then the third point I'd put down is you need to consider what is driving your business. What does your brand believe in? What are your values? What is the purpose And who are your brand heroes? Who do you want associated with your brand? These are all things you need to consider when you're building a brand. And once you've considered all of these, it can help actually establish your brand positioning and your identity. Then 4, you need to aim to build a long-term relationship with your customers. It don't matter if they are first-time customers or repeat customers. You don't want to dress up your brand and paint it in such a light that you raise expectations that you won't be able to meet up with. You need to be clear and truthful to who your company is. You need to give realistic expectations so that you don't break results. You don't want to say to your clients what you're not able to do. That will leave a sour feeling after they've left you, and you don't want any of that. So the 5th point is you need to speak to your customers with a consistent tone of voice. What I mean by this is whatever it is you're showing at any given time to your clients has to be the same, as in they need to know what to expect from you at all time. If it's quality you offer, they need to know that at every given time they would get that quality. If it is value for money you offer in your business, in your product or service, your customers need to be certain that, okay, if I come back to Mrs. B in 2 years time, I still would get value for money. So you need to be consistent in your offers. Then the 6th point is similar to the 5th, really. Your key messages should work together to build a coherent identity. You don't want to print a business card that is red, then maybe your letterheaded papers would be white, and maybe your backdrop will be green. So people don't really know what you're representing. If you're representing a red or white or black, it should be consistent. Your business card should have same colors as your flyers, as your letterheaded papers, as anything that's projecting your brand. Really, it has to be consistent. Then the 7th point I'd raised is you need to carve your own identity in building a brand. Don't try to mimic the giant brands and the big brands because they are peculiar to what they do and you are peculiar to you. The truth is that independent operators tend to leverage on attracting a clientele base that's looking for originality and something different, if you know what I mean. So try to be original. Don't go following the big brands and emulating them. Just do your thing, and your clients who want originality and authenticity would always come calling for you. The 8th point I raised is be innovative, be bold, be daring, stand for something you believe in. It don't matter if the rest of the populace don't believe in it. So long as you know what you want, you know what you're building, and you know your long-term goals, so stand for it and believe in it. And that's the advantage that small scale firms actually have over the big brands. For the big brands, there's a lot of bureaucracy, so they can't seem to like just make quick decisions, even if clients have a problem with their branding or are reacting to changes, because there are different layers of powers. But you know, the thing is, for small businesses, you are your own boss. You have the power to decide that, you know what, this is how I want it. You don't need to go through several layers of power. So that's actually a plus, and we need to capitalize on it in building our brands. Then the ninth point is something very important and dear to me, because it does apply to me most times. Being someone that deals in a premium price product, sometimes people really like your pieces, and when they ask and you go like, oh, this is the price tag to it, and they're like, but oh, I think it's highly priced. But the thing is, that for what you're offering, it's a fair deal, because you've done your research and you've tried to put it at the rock bottom price to beat your competitors. So the ninth point, always consider your branding when communicating with customers. You don't need to lose your pride. You don't need to dilute your brand with constant and indiscriminate discounts. What you can do is try offering more and more value to the money your clients are parting ways with, and promotions are actually another way to reinforce your brand. Rather than diluting your brand, you can offer promotions from time to time, over and over, so that way you still keep your brand promise. Then finally, I stated what I call the old ways of stamping your logo on everything won't necessarily cut. What this literally means is, during my research, I found out that the future of branding is fluid and it's engaging. Sometimes we need to allow your clients to actually discover things about your product or service. Leave that intriguing and curiosity for them to find out, and that's how a cult is actually built. That's how you get brand ambassadors that are willing to even speak for your brand without you realizing it. They're telling people what they discovered, the positive things they discovered about your brand. So in essence, that is it for branding. So I move to the next section, which covers marketing, and I've outlined 15 low budget marketing ideas that mom can use to promote their businesses. Have we got that on? Are you there?
Yes, go ahead.
Have you got that?
Yeah.
Okay. So